Well, hello everyone. Here, show you right here is the story of hidden surprises culling activity right here. Is that if most of us have had our experience, of course, with like what you calls like if we were to give somebody a present, it was knowing about if it was like a type of present, maybe the shape of like what you calls right here, say an ordinary say package it is. Maybe you say a bag of ice or something like that, or if it's like what you calls like a box like this it is, or if it's like what you say is it's a certain type of envelope it is. And you're talking about the kind of envelope to where you can maybe put maybe a few, say maybe a few ounces or something like that of papers it is, and basically that it could be say important files it is. But on the other hand too, that knowing about the story I'm talking about is talking about with like what you call like surprises it is for a story of say of hidden surprises is basically about that if we were to go out shopping for somebody, and let's just say that a lot of times that they say that well, you can't be around here, that you need to go shopping somewhere else. Well, I'm shopping for you. You can't come in here yet, whichever it is. I'm sure most of us here have had our experience, about that, of knowing about if you were to be shopping for somebody, and then the next thing you know it, that you don't want them to be around where you were, because you want a surprise if it was. I'm sure any friends and family that I know more likely has had that experience. And anybody maybe think about the best ways, of course, of how to solve that, of knowing about that. Anybody maybe think about, well, lie to them, tell them that you'll be at the food court, but you were you were really in the jewelry department or something like that. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that, from what I would say, to anybody of knowing about, for surprises, it is more likely that there's probably lots of ways. Of course, you can maybe surprise somebody. You can surprise somebody without lying. It is knowing about that. Talking about that, saying that. Yep, I'll be at the library or I'll be at the food court, whichever it is, and then find out that you didn't find them later on at the library. It was, and it's like that. And then later on that you may find them at the library it is, and knowing about, well, I'll be going there later on it is. But on the other hand too, that about the story, which calls like the hidden surprises, is that basically with what comes to my mind, of course, about that if most of us have our experience, of course, of giving somebody something it was, such as what you call like maybe if it was a watch, or if it's maybe what you call like something such as maybe a wedding ring or maybe a class ring, any type of ring it is. And knowing about this right here will be my old student class ring, of course, for my senior year it is, at the high school. And that knowing about with this ring right here is basically, it's like right here is written on the inside, of course, this is my name it is. But anyway, but talking about with surprises though, is a story about the hidden surprises of knowing about if you were to give somebody something. A lot of times it just seems odd knowing about it, that what it is. Of course, now what this is it is. And it'll just say, if I were to think about, it's like if it was like what you call maybe some type of a ring it is, and if I wanted to give it to somebody else it is. And of course, this is my my ring here, but let's just say if I were to give that example of if I were to give it to somebody it is, and then knowing about that I know what it is, but on the other hand too, I don't want this other person to know what it is. So basically, go ahead and use like what you call like a picture, it's a drawing right here. If like say if the ring were to say be inside the box it is, and of course to go ahead and put the ribbon right there. It's like if it was actually wrapped it was. And anybody maybe think about that. Had our experience of knowing about, it's like, for to and from it is. It's like knowing about, for who's it for it is, especially on the holidays. So far as, to and from. And, whenever you wrap it yourself, it's like at the time, it just seems like maybe it's not so much of a surprise it is, huh? Not too much of a surprise because you already know what it is. And basically, that anybody maybe think about, really, how does that feel about knowing about what you call like, do you call it what you call like maybe a secret, or do you call it what you call a type of experience of knowing about how junior, about how ordinary, how the situation worked, of knowing about that if you were to actually wrap something. I was going to maybe use like maybe say a remote control on a TV, or if it's like maybe a Blu-ray player or any type of present if you were to give somebody, it was. But I thought, well, go ahead and use a ring that I have. Of course, with the ring that still fits, but like with anybody, if they were to maybe, say, propose to somebody, or, have it to wear a certain type of jewelry product or anything like that, of knowing about if you were to actually wrap it, it's like basically, what is that called? Usually, is it called what you call, surprising them? So far as, for clothes, for the clothes, for the person to close their eyes. For the person to close their eyes, and then for them to open them. To open them, and on the other hand too, that the other ideas, of course, I may have in mind of is like knowing about surprises, like that for the other person knows what's in the gift, but on the other hand too, that what's in the gift it is, and that knowing about but so far as what you call is, if it's all a matter of like shh, but if you want to spell it, it's like what you call is like in OOO or TTT, like anybody probably think about like a that be quiet. It's like, but anybody probably think about like an oh sha, like an oh shush or something like that. But so far as like, and don't tell them what it is. But on the other hand too, that like talk about was shout, or if anything such as like shush, shush, shush. But on the other hand too, that knowing about the types of situations of knowing about that if we were to actually surprise somebody, it is talk about what to say with this hidden surprise of knowing about the other person, of course, knows what it is, and then maybe that they want to hold it in their hands, of course, just to find out what it is. And on the other hand too, that knowing about well, is it a pants, or is it shirts or anything like that? I don't know, just open it, man. But anybody can maybe think about it, if anybody has had experience about getting a little, a package, or say a box it is, and then knowing about that you don't know what it is until you open it. Let me guess, it's my bonus check, or let me guess, it's a watch. Let me guess, it's tickets to, say, the Vocational Islands. It is tickets to the Super Bowl, or let me guess, it's like tickets to the flight tour, say, of the summer party, or something like that. And knowing about, you just don't know what it is until you open it. But on the other hand too, that knowing about that I can maybe draw, like we say, an example right here. It's like talking about right here. You say draw like what you call say some tour, say of happy face it is. And know about what kind of happy face is this, huh? Well, you're the one who wrapped it, so you can tell me, you can tell us, here at the table, about what kind of happy face this is. Well, I can go ahead and tell you, go ahead and give it like maybe some eyebrows right here. Give it some eyebrows, and of course it's like give it some hair, and of course give it some ears. Give it some ears, and also I'm like, if I want to go ahead and maybe give it a little mustache right there, it is like give it a little mustache, and maybe give it a little mouth right here, like. But other than that, like you go ahead, give it just a little bit of hair, like, and get on with it, man. What's in the box? Like, well, I'll go ahead and draw another. See, to finish up the happy face here. And that knowing about, say with this happy face, go ahead and put a little detail right here, like an like an you want to get on with it and open the box, well, go ahead and open the box right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and continue on right here, say with the happy face it is. Got right there is the happy face, and it was like with the happy face, like like, and if you don't open the box, then I'm gonna open it. Well, if it's not in your name, then more likely that it's like, well, somebody's got to open the box. But other than that, like talking about right here is knowing about, you might probably think about the type of experience of what we get whenever we wrap something it is, and that knowing about that you know what it is, but you're not gonna tell me, right? Like, well, yep. More likely, I can go ahead and maybe put a whole roll of tape, of course, on the sides, and then that, maybe put like what you call it, maybe maybe a few paper clips, and maybe sponge glue. It's like you'll put a layer of glue maybe on the side of the envelope, knowing about it was addressed for me or something like that. Maybe kind of like this, like right here is like, right here's the cartoon character, knowing about try out what you call the Experience Cologne it is. And then right here, go ahead and maybe put like we say some eyebrows right here. It is like, I tell you one thing, if you don't open it, then I'm gonna tell you one thing, okay? Then I'm gonna rip it open. Well, if you rip it open, then it may still not get open, because on the other hand too, that maybe that the fact about that knowing about the right time, of course, about when to open it. But other than that, they talk about right here, add some say like, there's only a possible way of knowing about that. You know what the present is, right? But on the other hand, everybody else is kind of anxious to know about exactly about what's in the box, right? Everybody's kind of anxious to knowing about, like, if anybody asks, it's like what you call is like 4 times 2, and if you say multiply that by what you call is, for 10 groups it is, for 10 groups of people. I know about, are you going to open the box? Because I tell you one thing, okay? I tell you what, 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 equals triple 4. It's like, talk about, it's like with the L right here, it's like anybody probably think about it, and lift it up, and I'm going to tell you what, you find out what's in that box. But other than that, is talking about right here. Like, this is not so much a surprise, is it? Because you already know what it is. And when no one say, you already know what it is talk about this, like, if it fits you right. But other than that, like talking about, saying that gift, of course, of knowing about, that gift, a gift to knowing about, for somebody, of course, that it's like for Miles, so far as for the story. But other than that, like talk right here, so far as for, for the G, the GE for gooey, like, and so far as, for gooey, how's it going? But other than that, like talk right here, so far as talk about, say, with the present of knowing about our type of experience, or what we get is like talk about is filling out what you call this tag right here of knowing about fact about for happy holidays. Is talking about right there is talking about, say, for happy holidays, say with the cartoon character is like talk about like, and so far as talk about the story, say, of a hidden surprises activity.